is showing some Islamic influence on them. Like the image which I shown or which I showed here, can you see this type of arc? This type of arc was never ever experienced before in any of the temple architecture. That Rajasthani culture was developing in isolation, and this Rajasthani culture actually exemplified the Western Indian temple architecture, which is very much different from the North Indian architecture, which is called the Nagara kind of temple architecture, which we studied. Now we are heading forward to most important architectural detail and the architecture of southern India, which is related with the major empire called Vijayanagar Empire. And I asked you when I was discussing about the Vijayanagar Empire that during the establishment of Vijayanagar Empire, which was established in the year of 1336 by two brothers, Harihara and Bukka, who was the person who was ruling in the northern India? And the answer was, sir, northern India was under the control of Muhammad bin Tughlaq dynasty of Delhi Sultanate. And it is during this time period when Harihara and Bukka laid the foundation of Vijayanagar Empire in south. And because it is a story that Muhammad bin Tughlaq captured Harihara and Bukka, and he sent, means Muhammad bin Tughlaq released these brothers just on one condition, that Harihara and Bukka will help Muhammad bin Tughlaq in order to have a control in southern India. When Muhammad bin Tughlaq released Harihara and Bukka, I am just saying all this based on a tradition and a story which has been compiled by one of the ancient or the medieval, which you will be learning with me when I will be talking about the Vijayanagar kingdom. I will be explaining all these things to you in the medieval history. Sorry, I will be explaining these things here because I already taught you the medieval history. And it is during Muhammad bin Tughlaq when he captures both of them, and he sent both of them to the south as his commander or as the person who will help Muhammad bin Tughlaq in order to get back the South Indian territory. But you know what happens next. Harihara and Bukka, just because of their guru, which is called Vijayaranya, they got converted themselves again into Hinduism. Because when Muhammad bin Tughlaq captured both of them, he forced Harihara and Bukka to adopt Islam. And that is why they adopted Islam, but they again got converted themselves into Hinduism just because of their guru who is called Vijayaranya. And that is why in the memory of their guru Vijayaranya, they established and they named their kingdom as Vijayanagar. Just because their founders Harihara and Bukka were in constant touch with Delhi Sultanate, and this is the time of 1336, my dear students, when Delhi Sultanate is already established over the northern parts of India. That is why the architecture which we are going to study in Vijayanagar kingdom will exemplify some of the influence of the foreigners. And if I say foreigners, it means some kind of Islamic influence can be studied by looking at the architectural plans laid down by Vijayanagar kings. Yes, the kind of arcs the Vijayanagar kingdom constructed during their temple construction activity is showing some Islamic influence on them. Like the image which I showed here, can you see this type of arc? This type of arc was never ever experienced before in any of the temple architecture. That is why we said that in Vijayanagar architecture we see some foreign influence, and that is some Islamic influence. Yes, now read. This study means Vijayanagar architecture is all about the city of Vijayanagar, which is called the city of victory, named after by the guru of their founders, mean the founder brother Harihara and Bukka. Their guru is Vijayaranya. They established this Vijayanagar kingdom in the year 1336. Vijayanagar kingdom was visited by, as I told you in my class, by various foreign travelers like Niccolo di Conti, Domingo Barbosa, Al-Razzaq. They all visited Vijayanagar kingdom, and in their respective works they have provided a vivid account of the display of the glory of Vijayanagar architecture as well as the Vijayanagar administration and the kings. Yes, Vijayanagar architecture, students, synthesizes the Dravidian style but with some Islamic style too, and that is why we see that Vijayanagar architecture is a combination of some kind of Islamic architecture and the Dravidian. One thing which you note down here, complete absence of Nagara influence. Complete absence of the Nagara influence, because we do not experience any kind of Nagara temple architecture as far as Vijayanagar architecture is concerned. The use of pillars, if you can see, the use of pillars is very much important as far as Dravidian architecture is concerned, and that is why we see and we say the kind of arcs which has been shown here. We can always say the kind of arc which they constructed showed some Islamic influence, and when we say some Islamic influence, means some foreign influence was there as far as Vijayanagar architecture is concerned. So this is very much important as far as their architecture is concerned. This is the temple which I showed you, built during Vijayanagar dynasty. I showed this temple in order to look out the differences between Nagara, Dravida and Islamic, because the temples which we have studied so far, I never told you the arcs. However, I told you about the arcs which is called a horseshoe arc when I was teaching you the Chaitya, the rock cut architecture. But this is not the horseshoe arc. This kind of arc is very much prevalent as far as Islamic architecture is concerned. Islamic architecture will also be taught to you. I will try to start the Islamic architecture in this class only, so that things become clear very much. Now we are heading forward to Rajasthani architecture, and it is being believed by the historian the kind of architecture which developed in Rajasthan is completely different with it is completely different with the temple architecture which was followed in North India, and that is why historians are very much I would say they are very much compelled to say one thing, that Rajasthani culture was developing in isolation, and this Rajasthani culture actually exemplified the Western Indian temple architecture, which is very much different from the North Indian architecture, which is called the Nagara kind of temple architecture which we studied. So let's get back to the details mentioned here. See, Maru Gurjara temple architecture is very much important as far as Rajasthani architecture is concerned. This Maru Gurjara kind of temple architecture originated in 6th century in and around the areas of Rajasthan. It shows the deep understanding of the structures and refined skills of Rajasthani craftsmen. It has two prominent, this Rajasthani architecture has two prominent style. One is called Mahamaru and another is called Maru Gurjara kind of temple architecture. Both these temple architectures are from Rajasthan only. Rajasthani architectures, they showed generally two kinds of temple architecture. Scholars believe that Maru Gurjara temple architecture is entirely Western Indian architecture, and it is quite different from North Indian temple architecture which I told you in the class. This further shows that the cultural and ethnic separation of Rajasthan from the rest of North Indian culture, there is a connecting link, however, between Maru Gurjara temple architecture and the Hoysala temple architecture. And what is that? The connecting link is only based on the kind of ground plan which is being adopted by the rulers of Hoysalas and in Rajasthan. Both these architecture and the temples which were constructed under both of them were being constructed on some kind of stellate plan, a star-like plan. So this is the major connecting link. However, Hoysala were completely, I would say, Nagara and Dravida means Vesara. But the temples which were constructed in Rajasthan cannot be grouped under Nagara, Dravida or Vesara, because they developed another kind of temple architecture which is called Maru Gurjara or Mahamaru, which is completely, I would say, unique feature as far as Rajasthan area is concerned. So these are some of the temples of Maru Gurjara style. Like this is the Nagada temple. This is like the Jagdish temple, and the temple which has been shown here is called the Chanakeshwara temple. The Chanakeshwara temple is important because I will be showing you some details related with this Chanakeshwara temple.